we need a new dating app. And I'm not talking like someone create a brand new dating app, because there needs to be hot people on there, tall men, respectable men, because Hinge and Bumble just are not cutting it anymore. I don't know if I've just lived in my city for way too long and exhausted all my options, but I need more options. Or I feel like a lot of people my age just aren't using dating apps anymore, but then at the same time, men don't have the confidence to come up and approach a woman anymore. So you see, something's just not working, it's not clicking, and I am so tired of being single. I'm 30, my time is running out. If you're still watching and you know someone who is looking for someone like me, I'm 30, live in Arizona. The location, that's not a deal breaker, but ideally Arizona, ideally in the 30s, tall, handsome, good looking, and the most important, a respectable man. Let me know.
Probably somewhere trying to do the inner work like y'all asked him to.
Okay, I think that one of my biggest issues when I'm like trying to talk to a new guy for the first time is I always get love bombed, because I'm just so convinced that like I am all these things that you're telling me. Oh, you told me you love me after 1 hour of meeting me? Like, if I was a boy and I met me, I would say that too.
Some of these young ladies, they're really, I don't want to say insecure, but they really got to have somebody hype them up.
And if a man went out of his way to compliment me at the gym for dressing modestly, I'd feel like a loser.
These women, some of them thinking about the dumbest things to say.
Okay, so my radical feminist femcel coworker and I are listening to a podcast right now about red flags in men, and we've gotten to probably about 15 red flags in. It's very mundane at the moment, but one that I have just thought of that I have not told her, because I wrote this down in my notes last night to talk about, is a red flag if a man tells you that every woman he has given an order to every single woman he's ever been with. You can talk. That is a lie. That's a lie. You've been lied to. Like, point blank, period. There's no question about it.
I want them to explain step by step what they did.
Yeah, please let me know. Was it pure penetration? Like,
Right.
what
was the
you
methodology?
you really think that you have not been lied to? I would put money on the fact that like almost every single woman lied to you. And you want to know how I know? Because I was a liar.
Collecting red flags. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Some dude in my comments, I had time for the comments today, y'all. I was going through some dude in my comments was like, you're a solid 2. And I just want to say to that, that's fine. But at least I'm funny. Oh, that's it.
Listen, and don't ever get too comfortable. Let me tell you why. Because I had my spend the night bag ready in the car. Look, I'm literally coming from the movies. Don't ever think shit is too sweet. Don't ever think it's too sweet. I have my spend the night bag. We get in an argument. He goes, but we're not even together. I said, let me fall back, King. Let me fall back. You do not gotta worry about me. You do not got to worry about me. You do not got to worry about me, babes. You don't. So now, I'm at home. See? That could have been yours, player.
A woman in the comments said nothing worse than coming home with your spend the night bag.
Like, genuinely, why don't guys shoot their shots anymore? Like, bro, the only way you're gonna bag
is if you shoot your shot.
Like, the worst that could happen is that they reject you. Is that the worst thing? No, it's not. Why don't guys shoot their shot? Okay, like, no, don't like my story. Like,
Text me.
why are you liking my story? Like, maybe because, like, you thought it was nice, like, and I said, no! Shoot your damn shot, bruh. Like, the worst thing you could do is airball.
You're not dying.
You're not dying!
Is anyone else also just really tired of being single? Like, and don't come at me about needing to better myself or whatever. Like, I know so many single women who are amazing and know themselves so well. and have spent so many years working on themselves when they probably didn't have to do that. Like, what is going on? Why are there so many great single women and not that many great single men? Like, what happened?
The dude in the comments asked, why are there so many great single women and not many great single men? Is a question that reveals more about someone's character than they might realize. Hope that helped.
Every man that I see that's married has like this black band around his like ring finger. So I do apologize to all the blue collar men out there. I was not familiar with your game. Keep yourself safe. Wear the ring. I appreciate you.
I love this because here's a woman that made an assumption based on her limited experience. And when men came into the comments, and even women came into the comments to explain to her why they wear that band, she made this follow-up video where she recognizes that she made an assumption, that she was not aware. And she said sorry, and she gave some appreciation to these working men. But what is most important about this follow-up video is that she didn't make excuses. She didn't flip it by getting accusatory towards the men that were in the comments telling her why to begin with. She didn't make herself the victim. And let me tell you, not everyone was 100% super kind in the comments. She didn't do that. She took accountability instead. And to be honest, this is the most attractive thing to a man. So either this woman, hopefully she already has a good man, and if not, her DMs are going to be loaded.
I don't want to go in too much on her, but I don't understand why Google wasn't a thing here. I mean, just Google.
Earning more money does not mean you have to be the breadwinner in your relationship. Your husband, your partner can still be the main provider, even if your salary increases. I used to be a social worker making $2,500 a month. Now I make $100K a month in my business. And my man still pays all the bills. My husband still pays the mortgage. A lot of people say, oh, why don't you retire him? Oh, why don't you hire him in your business? And I'm like, why would I ever want that? It's so healthy to have a separation of church and state in your relationship and not talk about work all the time. Also, I want options. What if I want to be a stay-at-home mom one day? What if I want to completely pivot to another business and I don't want to have to worry about the cash flow? It's so important for women to have options and choice because our lives are so fluid. So you can still be a dink, you can still have two incomes, you can still have two separate paychecks coming in, but your partner still provides 100%.
Right, but you make $100,000 a month, so you could easily save that money and use that in case you want to go do other things like start another business. He doesn't have to pay all of the bills. I don't understand logic sometimes.
Woman, being with a man is already crazy enough. So if you are going to be with one, make sure that it is obsessed with you. Make sure that it makes you laugh. Make sure that it spends its money on you. Make sure that it goes broke about you. Make sure that they do not do anything that is not in service of you. He needs to worship the ground that you walk on. He needs to drink your bath water.
Some of these women are continuing to call men narcissists, and I'm not so sure that it's not them with the problem.
Men used to go to war. Women used to go to the highest bidder and to jail for talking. Why are we romanticizing the past right now? Like, what are you doing? That's not funny. Okay, neither is me getting turned into Swiss cheese at Normandy Beach. And by the way, when all the men agreed that it was their collective responsibility to protect the women like property, they also thought the women were property. Either we owe each other nothing because we're fundamentally equal, or I owe you my life in battle, and you're gonna not post thirst traps on Instagram, you're not gonna talk back to me, or you're getting a lobotomy. And that's what they did. No guys were going out there fighting Genghis Khan and coming back and being like, you want a no-fault divorce? That's fine.
Number one, it ain't even about the man. The number one reason that a woman boggles herself down with work. She's in competition with another woman to say, I can give him more than you can. Wow. I will take on all these responsibilities so he don't never have to look at another woman. He can come to me for everything. She voluntarily does this to herself. Then she'll have children thinking that she can keep that man and make him play in this fairy tale world that she live in. See, a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted.
This question is for the men. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this lately. starting last year to this year, that men really do not like women. Y'all like us for sex, or if we're beneficial to you, but for anything else, you really do not like women. Is that true? And I need to know why. And that's not all men, not all, because I know some men that are in a relationship and they definitely love their wives, their girlfriends. They're there for them. You know, they'd rather spend time with their woman than to be with their guy friends, their boys. And that's a lot that's going on also in my city that I notice. These dudes will be in a whole relationship, but they will rather spend hours and hours with their boys. Huh? They go out to the bars with their boys. Okay, I understand once in a while, but if you're spending more time with your homies, your boys, more than your girl, something ain't right at all.
I find that when women make this same argument, all of a sudden, and a man says or gives pushback on this, then all of a sudden it's a problem and he's insecure.
Dating an older man is so wonderful. Right up until the time where you realize he can have conversations with your mom and relate to her so well, not just because he's a good conversationalist and because he's a great person, but literally because they're talking about events that they were both present for. Great. Did y'all see each other at the function back in the day?
Well, you're given an allowance, so just take that allowance, spend it on candy, and just kind of stay in the child's place.
Hey babes, just a quick one from me today. I won't keep you long. If you think your ex hates you and you really effed things up with them to the point that they've blocked you on everything, I just want to remind you that the unblock button exists. It's that easy to press unblock. If you're blocked on all platforms and you think you can't contact him, babe, he's got an email. Sent with kind regards, and if you can't find the email, babe, I will.
That's weird. These modern women would do anything but the right thing.
And then I didn't hear from him. And I thought that was that. And I honestly didn't notice because I have done a lot of work on myself as a recovering anxious attachment to not get excited about people unnecessarily. Like I went on 3 dates with this person, and while I believe from what I've experienced so far, they're a good person, but I don't know them yet. There's no relationship to mourn of not hearing back from someone. And that's something that I am actually very proud about, is the detachment that I have with that, because it's not appropriate to get all jazzed about someone that you don't know. So I didn't even notice, honestly.
Frying this woman in the comments, I think one lady said, "Girl, sometimes I think you're so focused on you and your feelings, you ignore the other person's." Surprise, surprise. This is how a lot of these young ladies are.
A lot of men, they ask for peace and then they'll create chaos to test you, your boundaries. And it's like, babe, angels don't live in hell. I'm not about to be your peace. Like, come with it. And if you don't have it, you shouldn't be dating. That's why I have a problem with like, oh, be my peace. Someone asking for me to be their peace seems so weird to me, because you should already be at peace with yourself. I shouldn't have to provide that for you. It sounds like, if I'm reading in between the lines, is that you want someone to take your shot, question you, not have an opinion, make life on easy mode for you. And you should make that for yourself. And if you don't already have that for yourself, find a way to get it before you start dating and expecting someone to bring peace into your life. Why the fuck are you chaotic as trying to ask me to bring peace? You can't even give that to yourself. Why would I give that to you?
Well, you're reading in between the wrong lines, because you can actually, like you were talking about, create chaos in somebody else's life, which is what a lot of women do. You come in adding to what he's having to do outside of the home. So just don't keep that to a minimum. You can have problems that y'all talk about and discuss, but when you're contentious, nobody wants that.
This is Single at 44. Tonight I made a ribeye medium rare that I didn't have to share. Had an entire bottle of Barolo all to myself. I have the AC blasting. It's probably like 35 degrees in here. The toilet seat in my bathroom is down. There's no man stressing me out. This is heaven.
You know, you can do that same thing with a partner. What's going on here?
Crazy things that men have said to me, part one. I just showered, so I low-key have a little bit of mascara that I didn't remove. Ignore that. But basically, I was dating this dude, and he was Korean. I'm Filipino, by the way. And I am slightly bigger chested than usual for an Asian. And so on the first motherfucking date, man says to me, "Are you all natural?" And he looks me up and down, like literally. I was just like, and then I was so confused by his question, all natural. I was like, what do you mean? And then it clicked, and then I was like, are you asking me if I had any work done? And I started laughing, because I did not know how to act. I was like, no, I am, yes, all natural, and no, I have not gotten any work done. But I was just like, in my head, I was like, what a weird question to ask. The first date, no less. Ooh.
How weird was it? You said there in your caption that you were flattered that he would ask you that.
I walked over to the dispensary to get some little treats, and I did not dress normal because I'm like, who am I gonna see? It's just a little errand, right? So this is okay. This is the fit. This is the hair. I walk out of the dispensary, and this man is like, hey, mommy, you looking beautiful today. I go, thank you. And I keep walking. Again, reminder. Was he just trying to get some of what I just got? Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
He could literally see your face. Just take the compliment, say thank you, and keep going.
I'm sorry, but every time I'm looking at Tinder profiles and I see something like, I'm a strong single mother, first thing is swipe left. I see things like, I'm raising 3 boys on my own. I don't need to raise another boy in man's clothing. Swipe left. Anytime I hear I'm a strong, independent woman, swipe left. Anytime I hear, I'm a strong, career-focused woman, swipe left. Anytime I hear a woman, put in all these disqualifiers immediately, like I'm not cooking, I am not cleaning right off the bat, swipe left. I just want to repeat that there's a whole lot of swiping left on Tinder lately.
As a single, sober, introverted person who often finds herself lonely in the evenings, I need an app for cuddles. I need a sweet young man to come over and lay his little head in my lap while I pet it and we watch a movie and we just snuggle. If more happens, if I initiate more, so be it. But that is not the point of the app. And the fellas on the app are vetted and respect that. And they also want cuddles because it's really normal to crave oxytocin and connection and touch. And both genders, all genders crave it just as much. Cuddles.io. Someone help me build it.
These modern women really want to continue to date men on their terms. The man asks, what's in it for me? Oh, you get a hug. You pay for dinner, you pay for the movie, you pay for all that, you're going to get a hug from me.
I am physically and emotionally attracted to men. But if I wasn't, because I have been cosplaying wifey with my girlfriend for the past few days since I've been staying with her because her fiance is out of town. Let me tell you, the place is always clean. There's always fresh flowers. There's always food on the table. I mean, I cooked a really last night, but that's not the point, and we get to share each other's closets. Like, why can we not just live in a house with our friends and then we go see our husbands when we feel like seeing them? I think that would be a much more reasonable way to live, but we're stuck like this.
So let me get this straight. Y'all want to go hang out with y'all's girls, and y'all say that proudly all the time. But then y'all get mad at men because they hanging out with their boys too much, and that's immature. You don't love me? You don't want to be with your girl? You must love me and you must be DL. Huh.
I have to say something because it cannot be just me that has noticed this. These men
particularly in Los Angeles, California. And if you live in a big city, but we talking about where I live. They have way too many options. These women are beautiful, these women are gorgeous, and there are not enough men for the amount of women. And mind you, the women are astronomically better looking than the men. And then the men that do look good, baby, they're gay. And they're one of the girls, okay? Like it's not the same. Okay, I was being dramatic, but they're either gay, married, or they just don't like, like, what are we gonna do about this? There's just not enough men here. They're ugly.
We ain't gonna do nothing. The men that have those looks are gonna keep on winning. And the women that are fighting for these men are gonna keep on struggling.
Sometimes tall women take it a little too personally when you're dating a really tall guy and you're a short. All of you guys, I know you guys are capable of being normal humans, but I had a really weird experience yesterday. And it's not the first time. I date an exorbitantly tall man. He's 6'6". That's 2 meters for literally everybody else in the world. I started dating him because he looked like Guts from Berserk and I was into that. I tell you this because I will never show a boyfriend on the internet. Like, they never get rolled out. Even just talking about him feels sacrilege. Just imagine Guts. So we were hanging out and we got in line for this place that's really popular that has a pretty long line. There was a couple in front of us and it was a pretty tall woman and her shorter boyfriend. Which is fine. Like, I love a Rod Stewart experience. Like, that's cool. She looked at me, she looked at my dude, and then started making out with her man and made eye contact with me while doing it. At first I was like, what in the swinging hell are you trying to do? And then after she was like done sucking on his face, she like pulled away and was like, I love that you enjoy taller women, and then like cut her eyes to me. And I was like, I'm not part of this. And like, I think that's cool too. Like, what? Leave me alone. Listen, I am not going around stealing all the tall men, but if you guys do not get your act together, I will round them up and keep them in a barn.
Once again, with these modern women, it's not only the men that are going to receive their vitriol. It's going to be everybody around them. Their friends just don't know. All it takes is one wrong word for them to take you down too.
Y'all, mayday. I think I'm gonna be single forever. I have to say I hear y'all. I'm sorry, but y'all men are boring. Y'all men are so effing boring. Like, it is comical. It's sad but comical at the same time. So I'm on dating apps. So when I ask men, like, what's your hobbies? What do you like to do? What are your interests? It's like, well, I watch Netflix. I watch football. And don't get me started on hunting and fishing. I'm not into a man that hunts and fishing all that, sweetie. I'm sorry. That's just not my thing. I'm a black woman from Detroit. Like, do you think I would be into hunting and fishing? Do I look like the type that would be into you slaughtering some undefensible animal? I have a son that's a vegetarian. Like, we have a very, very vegetarian friendly household. So slaughtering animals, as you being my partner, slaughtering animals not going to go over well in my household. So that's a no. But I've met so many men that don't have hobbies, that don't have interests. Men, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Again, watching TV, eating food is leisure things. Eating food is a necessity. Drinking water is a necessity. Going out to, I like to go to bars and clubs. Okay, that's really, again, that's leisure. That's not a hobby. That's not an interest.
Lloyd Reed in the comments said, I've been told I'm boring a few times. I've been told I'm boring a few times. But guess who gets called? Guess who gets called when that rent money come up short? My boring self. I don't have it.
So he surprised me with tickets to the Braves game, and he said that we were right up front, and we're not even that close. Like, we're like literally so far away. It's not that close. You said we're gonna be right there. Is this close?
J Ford 91 284 said, bro, last inning, go to the bathroom and just go home. She can figure the rest out on her own.
I do think there are some valid reasons why marriage is not a great move. From a religious perspective, fantastic. But the issue is, when it comes to marriage, the state oversees your marriage, not your religion, really. And also, when your wife, if she so chooses to divorce you, she's not going to go to the church. She's going to go to the state to get alimony, to get XYZ, to get community property, to get half the house, to get half the assets. She'll go to the state, not the church. So for that reason, if the state was not so heavily involved in the affairs of romance and love and marriage, I might be more inclined to do it.
Prenup.
Prenups frequently get challenged and thrown out and sometimes deemed unenforceable for a variety of reasons. If a woman is motivated enough, she can try to get out of a prenup.
You had some evil women, have you?
It's not, I'm just a practical person who sees the reality of the family court system, the bias against men in the family court system, divorce laws, etc.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but for every person who's out there telling their partner, I can't read your mind. What you want me to do, just tell me what you want me to do. I need you to know that around the corner, there's a Miss Do It Without Asking, and there's a Mr. You Ain't Got to Tell Me What You Need. If your partner ever get introduced to them, it's over for you.
Anything not to just open up your mouth and communicate.
No, it's really bad. We're in a recession when they're telling you to get skinnier. Do not get skinny. That's how you lose power, okay? They want you frail. They want you tiny. They want you hungry, so you're only focusing on your hunger, okay? I want you focused on dismantling the patriarchy, okay? Which means there's no room for you to be hungry. Be healthy, but don't starve yourself. Eat well, exercise, build muscle, okay? They want your head not thinking straight. It's not happening. Definitely not on my watch if you're following me. Do you get it? Okay, this is coming to you from a vegan too. Eat your meat. Eat your protein.
It truly amazes me what these women will believe. Literally anything. Women in the comments agreeing with this.
Okay, I just got in the car after the date. That went really well, but also we identified some things that might not align, unfortunately, but I'm not sure. So very interestingly, I'm going to get to this first because I know that people are going to be asking about this. At the end of the date, I brought up, our last date, the whole, you tried to kiss me and I pulled away. And I just very clearly said consent is super important to me. So before anything like that happens, I just need to be asked first. And he was super respectful and was like, thank you so much for telling me. And
don't forget your phone. Please.
And I appreciate how you're able to very effectively and confidently set your boundary. So that was good. But we identified that the social media thing might not be in alignment. Me being public with my life, which is a challenge of what I do here and what I love to do and create, isn't really something that everyone is comfortable with. So we both agreed to just think about it. Because I was like, if I'm being honest, like, there are some things that I like to experience first and then share with you guys, so I give it a little bit of time. But there are just some things that...
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
There are just some things that I feel comfortable with myself just sharing right away. And when you add another person into that, it can get complicated. But I don't want to have to send every piece of content to my potential partner to get approval. You know what I'm saying? So he was super respectful and we both were just like, let's think about it. So I don't know. We'll see if he hits me up again to go out or what he says. And I will keep you updated. Okay, bye.
Saying you're not willing to review content with your partner while simultaneously requesting they ask before they kiss you is crazy work. A woman responded, came here to say the same thing. So she values consent, but when he's asking for the same respect in return when it comes to social media privacy, it's an alignment issue. If you want to keep posting about your life, etc., cool, but he doesn't have to show up in it. I'm telling you, these women continue to say there are no good men. Where are all the good men? Why can't I find a nice, clean guy to settle down with? Where are they? I can't find them. Be running into them left and right. Problems all around. At some point in time, you might need to look at yourself.
I'm in my 30s, I'm single, and I live in LA. It's really hard to meet people out here. I'm also not on any of the apps, but I do try to put myself out there. So last night, my girlfriends and I decided to go out on the west side and try to meet men organically. We went out in Venice, and there were so many cute, tall, handsome men. Like, we were like, oh my God, what do we do? Do we approach them? Do they approach us? It ended up being like a fairly successful night. So I thought. This morning, I got a message from one of my friends saying that a guy that I spoke to last night didn't ask for my number in the moment, but he would like to have my number now. So I was like, I thought about it. I didn't really feel a connection with this guy. So I ended up declining and saying like, no, I'm not gonna give him my number. Now I'm sitting here, it is 9:30 and I'm alone in my living room and I'm like, girl, you should have just given him your number. Like, what's the worst that could have happened? So I go to look this man up on Instagram. He's really easy to find. I just typed in his name. His profile was open. And this man is married, like full-blown married. He's full-blown married. Like, what is wrong with men? I have no, what is wrong with them?
When she said, what's the worst that could happen? I said he could waste your time. But some of these ladies out here don't want to vet a man at all. This is why men be trying to tell y'all, listen to what I'm trying to tell you about a man. Ask somebody before you go out there and waste your time. Lamont Radcliffe in the comments said you described exterior traits, tall, handsome, etc. At this stage in your life with children, you need to be focusing on conversation, which reveals character. Good luck. Men keep on telling you that, but they go for the tall, dark, and I understand you want to be attracted to somebody. I understand you want the 10 out of 10 because you think that you're a 10 out of 10. But some serious self-reflection needs to be going on here somewhere so you can stop running into these guys.
I was basically a therapist at the Spicy Dance Club, okay? All women who are in S work are basically therapists because unprovoked, they will start talking about their trauma. They literally see us as therapists. I've also heard that women who are therapists, like in actual offices, eventually the men try to, hit on them, ask them out, do sexual advances because they can't disconnect from the fact that this is a person, a human trying to help you. To them, it's like woman, whole, lady, help, nice, good, she like me. So I can't stand helping men for free with these type of things because I know they only want one thing. I know that the only reason they are talking to women about this is because they expect women to do the free labor, and I'm not doing that for free. But it's because in their minds, women are literally just a body. Like, even if they talk at us, not with us, talk at us about their problems, they will eventually get aroused because that's how they see women. They see women as an object. And I'm being self-literal. Even like the nicest guys that will come into the club, you think, oh yeah, this guy's been coming in here for months. I barely talk to him. He's just a regular somebody else. Chill guy here all the time. They all have the same thought process. Inside the club, outside the club. They are just looking for their turn. But I learned all this about them because I was a therapist to them. Because believe it or not, this job is mostly talking. It's mostly sales, it's mostly hustling, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a talker. I'm the yapper. That's how you make the money. Something kind of happens where they're talking to a woman, kind of being vulnerable, whatever that means. Then to them, like, that's like associated with like schmecks. Maybe that's why they don't open up to their guy friends. Maybe something will be activated. Not entirely sure, but I think I am. It's kind of like the wires are crossed when you were trying to like make connections. Like, I can't imagine talking to women and we're talking about something, I don't know, serious or traumatic and then being like, yeah, I should make out with her. Like, I don't do that. Men, on the other hand, look at women as just that. Matter of fact, I just saw this video of this girl and she was saying like it was like one of her really good guy friends. Like, she talks to him about everything. It's never been schmexual. And he like pulled out his eggplant and asked her to, you know what? Unprovoked. They were like talking. So their human behavior is a little bit different than women. Because like I said, they have one goal and one goal only. It's really not that complicated.
Well, maybe you should get around different men other than the men that you see in the club where you're taking your clothes off. I mean, you know what? Anyway, the point is he shouldn't have pulled that out. But I think, and you know, you're describing somebody being emotionally vulnerable, which is what y'all be asking for. There is no better man than a man that listens and understands. Ooh, girl, that does what? Oh, turns me on. I love a man that can listen and just solve my problems. You want to know the best way to get me in the bed? Wash them dishes. You want to know the best way to get me in the bed? Insert so many tasks. What do we talk about here?
Dating over 50 story time. So I'm going to give y'all a little update on my 4th date that I had with Mr. GK. And I'm definitely dating with intention. I think I've talked about that before. But, you know, anyways, let me give you the date update first, and then I'll kind of go into like what I mean when I say dating with intention. So we had our 3rd date at the farmer's market. I talked about that in my last TikTok, so you can check that out. But our 4th date, we just went to lunch. We went to Asian Mint. It was on a Tuesday, and the farmer's market date was on a Sunday. And after that date, he was like, yeah, we should definitely do lunch one day this week. And so, you know, so we did. We met at the Asian Mint, and it was really fun. We sat at the bar. We sat obviously next to each other, like at the bar, which I love doing that versus like sitting across from him. You know, we were like holding hands and definitely being affectionate. We had a lot of laughs, and we were both smiling a lot and had a lot of like good conversation. And it just feels good when we're together. We both like say that. Like, I feel like I've known him longer than I have. I've literally only known the guy for 2 weeks. But I do love the way I feel when I'm with him. I love to pay attention to how I feel when I'm with him and how I feel right when I leave. So, you know, we probably sat there for an hour and a half. You could tell we were both like wanting to continue to talk because we didn't want to have to leave and like go back to work or whatever. So, you know, he walked me to my car, and we had already had the 5th date planned, which is tonight. And we are going to go to the Improv, like the funny comedian Dallas Improv, and then go to dinner after. So he's picking me up at 6:30. And so all in all, I would say everything seems pretty good. Like, I've noticed a lot of green flags. He's very consistent with his communication. He texts me every day, once a day, sometimes twice a day. But there's been 2 times where he's like not responded right away, because typically he does respond right away. So there's been like 2 times where he took like a couple of hours instead of like responding within an hour. And I know it does. I know some of you might be like, who cares? It's not a big deal. And it's probably not a big deal, because it certainly isn't a pattern. And he's at work, like he has a big time job. He's a CEO. So like he's at work, obviously during the work day, and both of these times were during the work day. So I'm sure that's all it is. It doesn't matter. But this is just a point I'm making. After getting out of an unhealthy relationship, you might overthink things. And that's definitely, I find myself doing that. So if I find myself overthinking, like, oh my gosh, why isn't he returning my text? Like, then I just have to say to myself, Heather, you know, calm the anxiety, because the only way your anxiety will calm down is if you talk to it. Like, I read this really good book about how to sort of calm your anxiety, and it's almost like you have to close your eyes and picture what that anxiety is and how old you feel when you're feeling that anxiety, and sort of reparent yourself. And so, you know, it's a symptom of coming out of an unhealthy relationship, because I'm sort of hyper vigilant and always wondering, like, when is the other shoe going to drop? So I kind of have to talk myself down. And, you know, sometimes I'll go on a walk. Sometimes I'll go do yoga. Sometimes I'll say a prayer and just be like, God, if he's for me, then bless it. If he's not for me, then remove him from my life as soon as possible. And if he's inconsistent, then that's just God's way of saying, this isn't your person, because I definitely value consistent communication, which he has done, which I love. Just because he hasn't responded, you know, for a couple of hours doesn't mean he's being inconsistent, because he's not. His responses are very thoughtful and everything. But saying that prayer to God, like, God, I know that if this is the right one, you will bless it. And if it's not the right one, you will remove him from my life as soon as possible. And then I always say, every single thing that's happening to me is actually happening for my highest good. So if this guy continues to be amazing and consistent, that's awesome. Then that means this is great. Then I'm meant to be with this guy right now. Now, if he turns out to not be the greatest guy, well, then that's also good, because that just means he's not my guy and we're not meant to be together. So it's like either way, nothing can go wrong, because either way, I know that God has my back and that it's happening for my highest good. So I think that's one of the most powerful prayers you can pray every single morning when you get up is, God, thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, show gratitude and just be like, thank you. This is what I always say. Thank you for working every single thing out for my highest good. Always, no matter what it is, every single thing that's happening to me is actually happening for me. And then you just let go of the outcome. So that will help you so much in your dating life. It's helped me so much, even though of course anxiety is going to creep in a little bit, especially if you've been in an unhealthy dynamic. That's okay. You can just still say that prayer over and over and it will help you have less anxiety. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you do to combat anxiety in the dating world, because I always love hearing from y'all.
So a lot of these women, even though she's in her 50s or 50s, she seems like a very nice person to hang out with, just to, kind of date short term, and then she goes on and does whatever she wants to do. Her mindset to me is not really dating long term, like a long term relationship. Or maybe she's just not ready for that, because the way it sounds is, oh, well, he didn't text me back. He's a CEO. He's pretty busy. Well, if you have time to go to the restroom, if you do that, and all that other stuff, y'all need to start working out whatever works for y'all relationship, period. Stop listening to all that other nonsense. What is working for me? Y'all continue to say, I just heard a woman on here talking about, I want to see my man 3 to 4 times a week max. I don't always want to see him. I don't always want to hang out with him. I want my me time. I want my alone time. God forbid a man who is a CEO go to work and be busy and swamped the entire day and cannot get to his phone. Well, you had lunch. I'll be at lunch trying to decompress. Is that okay with you? I'm going to hit you up after I get off work. And you said this is not a pattern. He tries to get back to you. At some point in time, y'all got to start learning, like you said, to relax. Go with the flow. Now, if he's just completely ignoring you and it's a pattern, then that makes sense. But the man, this is not what the man is doing. Y'all be so quick to kick a man out. No wonder why I can't find nobody.